In this video, we are going to be analysing NRBO. Now, this was a recent mover, or I say that it was about 2 months back now. We did cover this stock when it made this ginormous move, and since then we have faded off. And this is really good stock to look at, kind of when we're analysing these other small cap stocks. I know a lot of you are focused on them. Again, I don't personally trade them, but this is usually the same pattern they follow. You get this strong momentum, and then eventually in time, again, they're moving on usually not strong news or no news at all. So in time you fade back exactly to where the pre-news was, and you can see you came into that level and then you got that bounce. That's another way you can play them. Again, these are the things you want to start observing when you're looking at these stocks, because a lot of them follow the same patterns. They fade back down, and again, when they come back to their pre-news or pre-kind of gap level, again, look for the long bias. You tend to see them reverse at this level, or maybe not always reverse, but you tend to get a good healthy bounce, which is definitely a profitable play. So these are just things you want to be observing. But anyway, more onto the levels that we would be paying attention to, and really where we are now, a key support level to really be paying attention to. We can see at 283, that is our first deviation on the 6-month chart. If we quickly go into a intraday chart, what we can see, there we go, is strong sell-off, very strong momentum to the downside until we broke or came to this 286, and we start seeing it cool down a bit. We came for that retest and failed off. So we can see this was done on the 15-minute time frame. So if you're looking to trade probably into tomorrow, well, by that I mean Monday, probably Tuesday, this has kind of given us a bearish signal. We come to retest that level and we're continuing down. Again, we tend to look for this retest, but if you're looking for much bigger moves, we want to see that on at least a 4-hour time frame. But if you're looking more for the intraday trades, 15-minute will definitely be sufficient. So really now we're a bit more bearish on this stock. We do think it will continue to fall that bit more. Now, what will be levels? So this is a tricky part, because we can see on the longer term time frame we have no levels to give, because here is 0. We have no deviation levels going any lower, so we don't have any supports on these shorter term, longer term time frames. So what we will do at the end of this video is go into a shorter term time frame to give you some supports, but we will quickly cover these stronger level resistances first. So if we start to push up, be looking at 343. Again, this is in the middle of a gap, so this will probably be a temporary level. So what I mean by that is, if we start to push up, look for a pullback on this level. You'll probably come back to around this 286, and then because we've already started to try and fill this gap, again, there's no levels within this area, so it's a lot easier for the stock to kind of just come it back, test it as a support, and really just fly back up to this gap fill location at around 465. So that's one of the things I'll be looking out for. Obviously, this is if you look at it on a daily chart. There is actual no gap if you look at it with an after hours chart, but again, most people, or a lot of people, do trade with just a daily chart, so these are still considered gaps. Now, if we continue higher, though, what are going to be even more resistances? We do have one at 880, 1630. If we go higher, we do have 1490, $20. And really, we don't need to go many levels more, because we can see, yes, there are levels going higher, but this is because there was so much hype, it made the deviations very wide. But now we're sitting at $2.60. The likelihood of hitting $20 is not all that much. So these are the key levels, that are the strongest levels that we can provide with you. But what we would do, take note if you want to see these stronger levels, but what we would do is quickly cut down onto a shorter term time frame. And for this, we usually use a 20-day 1-hour chart, and then also a 30-day 1-hour chart, because these will give us levels a bit closer to where we are now, and ones we could probably look to trade off coming into next week. So if we continue this bearish move, again, as of right now, that does actually kind of seem more likely. We do have a support at 219. Now again, the problem is we can see there is actually no more deviation levels again even on the shorter term time frame, which this kind of does say is it's going to be hard to trade this stock to the downside, because if it breaks this 217, you're really going to be catching a falling knife. Yes, it might to a lot of people start to be seen as very cheap, but at the same time, there is no support levels going any lower. Yes, you've got the psychological ones, but that's about it. So you've got $2, $1.50, $1. They're going to be your psychological levels, ones that you can probably look to trade. But apart from that, they're going to be hard to trade, because there is no levels to be looking at. this shot will be easier to trade to the upside, because then we actually have some levels and significant levels to be looking at. So we have $5, $5.80, going higher we got $7.75, going on to about $9, and then final levels taking us to around $10.50, $12 and $13.50. Again though, a lot of these levels are very far off. Yes, it's a volatile stock, so it can push to these kind of levels, but really the key focus, what I would be looking at now, is what level are we going to hit? The 219, if so, that may provide a long bias area. You can look to trade that, but again, be looking for confirmation, because if it breaks through this level, there is a high probability you'll get a snap down, and again, you don't want to be losing money on, big money on a trade like this when you can just be having a tight stop if it doesn't hold the level quite accurately, and by that I mean probably by about 4 or 5 cents. Then the level's probably going to fail, and we are going to kind of keep pushing or crashing down. So be watching out for that. You can have some tight stops on that. But what will be the easier trades is if we start pushing to the upside. $5 is our closest target, and once we can push back above this $5 level, it'll be a lot easier to trade, just because then it'll be coming into much more significant levels. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the breakdown on NRBO. If you did enjoy the video, why not drop a like and subscribe, and check out one of these 2 analysis videos.